I know for a fact that my children are happy and busy in the spirit world. Because of my communications with my friend Tammy Daybell, I know that she is also very happy. I mourn with all of you who mourn my children and Tammy. Jesus Christ knows the truth of what happened here.
It's just after 1 in the afternoon on a warm January day in 2020, and police in Rexburg, Idaho, arrive at a quiet townhouse for what they expect to be a simple welfare check. They're looking for 2 missing children, 7-year-old JJ Vallow and 16-year-old Tylee Ryan, brother and sister who haven't been seen by anyone outside their family for months. Their mother, Lori Vallow, calmly meets the officers at the door. She smiles, polite, almost carefree. And when they ask a simple question, "Where are your children?" Lori gives an answer that will eventually become one of the most chilling lies in modern true crime. They're safe. They're somewhere else. Within days, Lori and her new husband, cult author Chad Daybell, flee Idaho. Within months, police uncover a trail of death stretching from Arizona to Hawaii, to the quiet farmland where Chad once lived. And when investigators finally discover what happened to the children Lori claimed were safe, the truth shakes. This is the story of Lori Vallow, the Doomsday Mom, a woman who believed she was a goddess, a woman who said her children were taken over by dark spirits, a woman whose apocalyptic fantasies turned into real-world horror. To understand this case, you have to understand him. Chad Daybell was a self-published author who wrote dozens of novels about the end times, visions, near-death experiences, spiritual battles between light and dark. He wasn't famous, but in certain circles, he was revered. Chad claimed he could see beyond the veil, communicate with spirits, and receive divine warnings. He talked openly about portals, past lives, and the idea that some people weren't fully human anymore, that their bodies could be overtaken by dark spirits. He called them zombies. When Lori Vallow met Chad at a religious conference in 2018, something clicked instantly. He told her they had been married multiple times in past lives. He told her she was a translated being, a goddess who couldn't die. He told her she had a divine mission to prepare the world for the apocalypse, and Lori believed him. Soon, her cheerful personality twisted into fanaticism. She spent hours talking about light ratings, spiritual missions, portals, chosen warriors. She stopped caring about earthly responsibilities, including parenting. Even worse, she began to view the people around her in dangerous, frightening ways. According to investigators, Lori eventually claimed that her then-husband Charles was a dark spirit. Her daughter Tylee was possessed. Her son JJ was controlled by evil energy. The people closest to her weren't just in the way. In her mind, they were spiritually dead. The first victim was someone Lori once loved. In July 2019, Lori's estranged husband, Charles Vallow, arrived at the home where Lori was staying. He was worried about her mental health. He was worried about the kids. He was trying to help. Minutes later, Charles was shot and unalived by Lori's brother, Alex Cox, who claimed self-defense. But the details never added up. Lori didn't seem upset. She threw a pool party that same day. She sent strange messages from Charles' phone. And most disturbing, She immediately began telling her inner circle that Charles was taken over, that it wasn't really him anymore. Police didn't arrest anyone. The case was closed, and Lori realized something powerful. She could get away with anything. In September 2019, Lori moved to Rexburg, Idaho with Tylee and JJ. Chad Daybell lived only a few streets away. In those early weeks, neighbors noticed disturbing things. Tylee was rarely seen. Lori often snapped at JJ. Alex Cox, Lori's brother, was always around. On September 8th, Tylee was last spotted at Yellowstone National Park. There is one photo, the final known image of her alive, standing with her family near a geyser. After that day, she vanished. Lori told everyone a different story. She's away at college. She's with friends. She doesn't want to talk to anyone. 2 weeks later, JJ disappeared too. On September 23rd, he was seen playing with neighbors. That night, he slept in Lori's apartment. By morning, he was gone. Lori told her babysitter she no longer needed childcare. She told the school she was homeschooling him. She told her friends he was fine, safe, happy, but not a single person outside Lori's small city. The reason becomes clear later, when police discover how Lori thought about spirits and evil. JJ and Tylee weren't missing. In Lori's belief system, they had been replaced. They were zombies. In November 2019, Chad Daybell's wife, Tammy, unexpectedly collapsed in their home and died. Chad refused an autopsy. 2 weeks later, just 2 weeks, Chad married Lori Vallow on a beach in Hawaii. Vacation photos show them smiling, dancing, wearing leis. They ordered wedding rings weeks before Tammy died. But something was missing in those pictures. The kids. Lori told people various excuses. They're safe. They're with friends. They don't want to talk right now. But by late November, authorities officially discovered something chilling. No one had seen JJ or Tylee in more than 2 months. Police ordered Lori to produce her children within 5 days. She never did. Instead, she and Chad hid in Hawaii, sunbathing while the nation asked, "Where are the kids?" When reporters confronted them, Lori simply walked past, smiling, silent, untouched by fear. The FBI became involved. The case went national. Lori was finally arrested on child desertion charges, and still, she refused to say where they were. Behind the scenes, more pieces fell into place. Lori's brother Alex died suddenly in December, cause unclear. Chad's former wife Tammy's body was exhumed and found to be a homicide. Lori's digital records revealed searches about wind direction and body decomposition, but none of it prepared investigators for what they would soon find. On June 9, 2020, police searched Chad Daybell's property in rural Idaho. They dug near a fire pit. They dug near a pond. They dug near a patch of disturbed soil. And then, everything stopped. What they found was every parent's worst nightmare. JJ Vallow was discovered carefully wrapped and buried near a tree, still in his pajamas, still with a blanket. Tylee Ryan was found nearby, but her remains were burned, dismembered, and placed in a shallow grave. The horrors were beyond words. Chad watched from a car across the street. When police approached him, he tried to drive away. He was arrested on the spot. The nation finally had the answer to the question, where are the children? But the bigger question remained, why? In 2023, Lori Vallow finally faced a jury. The prosecution painted a devastating picture. A mother obsessed with doomsday fantasies. A woman willing to eliminate anyone who stood between her and Chad, a person who believed she was above earthly laws. They outlined the pattern. Charles Vallow, unalived after Lori said he was taken over. Tylee Daybell, gone after Chad claimed she was possessed. Tylee and JJ, labeled dark spirits before vanishing. Lori's defense argued mental illness, manipulation, and religious delusion. But the evidence was overwhelming. Jury members cried hearing how JJ was buried. They cried hearing how Tylee's remains were treated. They cried hearing Lori's own words, calling her children zombies, saying they were no longer themselves. After weeks of testimony, Lori Vallow was found guilty of first-degree murder of Tylee, first-degree murder of JJ, conspiracy to murder Tylee Daybell, grand theft and fraud related to the children's benefits. She was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. To this day, she shows no remorse. She still claims she's being judged unfairly. She still says she was acting on God's will. She still believes she's a translated being. The Lori Vallow case is one of the darkest, most disturbing stories in modern American crime. It's not just the deaths. It's not just the beliefs. It's the fact that for so long, people didn't realize what they were watching. A mother turning into a fanatic, a quiet author becoming a cult leader, a family falling apart one body at a time, and two innocent children disappearing while their mother smiled on a beach. True crime always leaves questions. But this case leaves something deeper. A reminder that dangerous ideas don't always look dangerous at first. Sometimes they look like faith. Sometimes they look like love. Sometimes they look like a mother who believes she's chosen. But the truth always finds daylight. And for JJ and Tylee, the truth came too late. This is the story of Lori Vallow, the Doomsday Mom, a case that shocked investigators, devastated families, and left an entire country wondering, how did no one stop her sooner?